Good day to you mortals, and let's spill some tea. If you're a Frankenstein fan, what I'm about to tell you will either get you more invested or disappoint you. So beware. First things first, let's discuss Mary Shelley and why she wrote Frankenstein. Mary Shelley was chilling, or more likely crying over the death of her first baby, with her lover Percy Shelley after running away from home and then being disowned by her father, when her sister Claire Claremont, too much alliteration here for my taste, comes and asks her for a favor. Claire is pregnant with Lord Byron's child. Lord Byron is a famous poet who just divorced his first wife and abandoned his daughter Ada Lovelace, who will go on to become the first computer programmer ever, so joke on him. There were also rumors that he was having an affair with his half-sister. Instead of staying away from this jerk, Claire asks Mary and Percy to accompany her to meet Byron. Too bad for Claire, but to be fair, Claire is not a saint herself as she had an affair with Percy while he was still courting Mary. So maybe she deserves it. Anyway, they go to Geneva, and fortunately Byron happens to be in town, so he invites them to this villa he rents, and they have to stay inside because of the terrible weather that follows the eruption of Mount Tambora. The eruption of Mount Tambora happened in Indonesia, and it was the most powerful in recorded human history. The eruption created a bunch of atmospheric dust which prevented sunlight from passing through, so it was very dark all the time. When the snow fell, it was brown and red. The whole world felt the effects of the deadliest eruption ever. Abnormal weather conditions caused food shortages and people were starving. In the state of Virginia, where I currently reside, lakes froze and snow fell in the summer. I mean, who doesn't enjoy year-round winter? With all of that going on, Lord Byron decides it is a perfect time for a ghost story contest. At first, Mary could not get any ideas for her story, but then one night, after listening to her friends discussing Calvinism and the power of electricity, and while likely being high on opium like her friend Coleridge when he wrote Kubla Khan, she has a dream. I saw the hideous phantasm of a man stretched out, she wrote, and then, on the working of some powerful engine, show signs of life. That dream became the seed of the story we now know as Frankenstein. It took her 2 years to finish, during which she got pregnant and gave birth to another baby who would sadly die a year later. Mary at that time was 21 and published anonymously, which led some people to believe that the story was actually written by her husband. Because obviously women can write good stories, right? Freaking patriarchy. Moving on to the novel, here is teacup number 2. Frankenstein is a monster. Okay, so we all know that Frankenstein is a college dropout, not the monster he created. Perhaps the dropout genius culture began with Frankenstein. But back to our cup, we also know that Frankenstein is the real monster of the story. He is a selfish fish. He first creates a human and then runs away because he didn't bother to make him pretty enough for his own standards. Frankenstein reminds me of homophobic parents. First you give birth to a child and then you reject them because they don't align with your made-up standards. Like, take some fucking responsibility. Don't have children if you're not ready for them to be gay. I'm just saying. Now the monster or the creature is a real genius here. First of all, before all that shit goes down, he's a sweet cinnamon roll. All he wants to do is help people and be accepted. In a year, his speech becomes more eloquent than anyone I've ever heard or read. And he does that without actually having to ever interact with his teachers. Like, if I could learn Japanese by watching anime year-round, that would be freaking awesome. Or Korean by watching K-drama. Now, one of the dumbest moments in the book was when Victor got married. The monster clearly told you that he will attack someone on your wedding night, so why the heck did you go to that remote cottage with no protection Besides your gigantic ego, of course, which made you leave your bride alone in another room while you excitedly waited for the monster to come for you. Like, this is not Pride and Prejudice, right? Because dear Victor is guilty of both. The funniest moment in the book was when Victor got invited by the creature to go to his cabin in the mountains, where he then requests to make him a girlfriend. Now, the concept of the creature asking for a girlfriend itself is kind of hilarious. I mean, I get it. You need to bang, but just chill. But even more so is the conversation that happens between Victor and the creature. I demanded of you as a right which you must not refuse to concede. I do refuse it. Be gone. I have answered you. You may torture me, but I will never consent. Yikes, there is nothing you can do without consent. But wait, you are in the wrong, and instead of threatening, I am content to reason with you. Maybe this could work. Actually, never mind, I'll never do it. How constant are your feelings? This conversation just cracks me up every time I read it. Like, they're both so melodramatic, I just can't take it. And like, the fact that the creature is just like, I will reason with you. Like, I know you're a dumbass, but like, it's okay. I realize that I surpassed you a long time ago when it comes to the brain power and the physical abilities, so it's okay. I understand you stupid humans are just so pitiful. Also, after Waltman took the time to write all of Victor's story down, which was a whole freaking book, Victor was like, since you preserved my narration, I would not that a mutilated one should go down to posterity. Basically, good job here, but just let me fix a couple of things to make myself feel braver and the creature more terrible so that I wouldn't seem like such a loser that I am. I think this is also a great reminder that the story is biased. It's been passed down through so many people that we have no idea how much of it is actually true. Alright, on to the cup number 3. There is a lot of homoerotic energy in this book. Now, I don't know if Mary was taking inspiration from Byron and her husband, or if taking sexuality in Southern literature left a permanent mark on my brain, but apparently, I'm not alone in this. Because here's an excerpt from an article I found. The language used to describe the making of the creature by Victor in the novel suggests masturbation, as Gordon D. Hirsch and David E. Musselwhite have pointed out. Victor describes how he uses his profane fingers in his solitary chamber, where he keeps his workshop of filthy creation, and he complains that his heart often sickened at the work of my hands. These masturbatory elements also suggest homosexual fantasies. Now, at first, I was pretty skeptical too, but some of the arguments provided in this article are pretty convincing. For example, why is Victor so opposed to giving the creature a girlfriend? And why is he so excited when the creature comes to his wedding night? See, I gotcha. If you're interested, you can check out the link in my description. I've linked all of the materials I used for this video down there. Now, one character whom I'm quite positive is gay is Captain Walton. Just look at how much he was yearning for a companion and how happy he was to find him in Victor. He calls Victor the brother of my heart and knows that he's attractive and amiable. I mean, you can feel his obsession with Victor like sipping through the pages. For cup number 4, I wanted to make an educated guess that Frankenstein will only be gaining popularity in the next, well, at least decade. The issue of ethics and responsibility that comes with scientific discoveries will be a common topic to ruminate on as we advance our mastery of the world. Of course, this is based on the assumption that we don't fuck it up before then, which seems more likely day by day. Some of the examples of such experiments are artificial intelligence and artificial wombs, which by the way have already been successfully tested on baby sheep. Now, thank you for coming to my tea party, and I hope to see you at my next one. Please like and subscribe, and to quote Mary Shelley, of what a strange nature knowledge is. Bye! na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hold that fuck down. This masturbatory amiable fuck. While likely being high in opium like her friend Samuel, because obvious,